Welcome to the Fabulous 413. I'm Khalees Smith.
And I'm Monty Belmonte. Later in the show, we get to revisit a rocker we talked to before their show came to town, but now we're in the middle of their 2-day residency at Bombyx, so we'll hear a little from Caroline Rose before she concludes her run in Florence with the Metropolis Ensemble.
And we'll hear about a category of word that has distinct ties to NPR with resident wordster Emily Brewster from Merriam-Webster, our dictionary in Springfield, as we explore the past of words with Retronyms.
And we'll take a closer look at the incoming inclement weather with our favorite armchair meteorologist, Dave Hayes, the Weather Nut.
But first,
time for Local Hero Spotlight with Phil Corman from CISA, the local hero, folks. And we're talking with one of the anchor farms in Hampden County that will be honored by CISA this Thursday. It's D&R Farm, not Do Not Resuscitate, D and R Farm. So you're the D and you're the R.
Yeah.
Diane.
Diane and Robert Rollins.
You grew up on a farm.
Yes, I did.
So this is something that you've been doing for a very long time.
Yeah.
Did you grow up on this farm?
No.
Tell us about your history.
The history is my parents used to own Sunny Acres Turkey Farm in East Long Meadow.
Uh-huh.
I was going to be the third generation, but we lost it because of the town.
That came up a little bit when we were talking both with Meadowbrook and with the Apple Place about East Long Meadow not realizing until just about now that maybe hanging on to agricultural spaces might be important to the town and the state in general.
It is very important, but the problem is that they saw taxes. That's what they wanted. They fought my father for 15 years. So my father says, I can't hand this down to you. We're done. And it took us about 18 to 20 years to get the farm where it is now.
So you had to go purchase new land and start all over again?
Yes.
Well, we started with what we have, and he was like, I want to raise some turkeys. And I said, okay. Well, how hard can it be?
If he did it his whole life.
Right.
Yeah, you are what you eat. Turkey.
Yeah.
No.
Well, the biggest thing was we raised 30,000 turkeys.
That's a lot of turkeys.
Yeah, well, we didn't want to raise that many. No way.
So how many are you raising right now?
We're at 210.
210.
Yeah.
No wonder you sell out every year.
Yeah.
Highly sought out.
Yeah.
And folks can order a turkey now for Thanksgiving. Like, you'll take that order now.
Oh, yeah. Well, you actually have 6 people that have already ordered their turkeys.
For Thanksgiving.
Whoa,
way to be ahead of the curve.
Well, honestly, I was looking at that on the website going like, and then I could just be done.
We're speaking with Diane and Robert Rollins of D&R Farm in Hampden, an anchor farm in Hampden County, and CISA is honoring them on Thursday. Phil, tell us why.
Every year we have an annual meeting, and we don't want to just do this very boring, like, let's vote for this and this. So that becomes a very small part of the meeting. And we look back at the past year, we say where we're going in the current year, but then we take the time to honor folks who have done amazing work in the local food system. And D&R Farm is the farm we wanted to honor this year as a Local Hero awardee. We're so glad they accepted. They felt like they won the Nobel Prize.
We were shocked about it.
Yeah, next time we'll have to say, please sit down first. Yeah, and we'll be honoring 2 other awardees that night, too.
So your farm does poultry, livestock, and produce, and baked goods. Like, what did you start with, and when did you start expanding out into all of these other things?
It started with the turkeys.
Oh, it really started with the turkeys.
Yeah, it really started with the turkeys.
The turkeys, and we were doing eggs, too.
Yeah, we had gotten hens for eggs, and we were selling them off our front porch, and we couldn't keep up. So we had to get more birds and more birds.
How do you feel about that, Diane?
There's a face that's happening.
Yeah. Well, we know that Robert grew up on a farm. What was your relationship to farming before encountering this turkey?
My family, we also raised our own fur, but it was basically just for our consumption. My father had gotten 20, 24 birds, so we had plenty of eggs. We also, when he felt like it, he would just kill one for meat.
Yeah.
But hens don't have much meat on them. So occasionally he would raise a couple of meat chickens, and then, of course, he would raise 1 or 2 turkeys for the holidays. And we grew all our own produce, and my mother taught me how to bake and cook, and if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here today because she was a magnificent woman. magnificent. She taught me a lot. My father taught me a lot, too.
So you're no stranger to this lifestyle then, I guess.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't like you
I'm
came
an
from...
old-fashioned girl.
Was it different having to do it on a much larger scale?
Definitely. I mean, when I make dill pickles, I have to make like 200 jars of dill pickles. And I still sell out in October.
We're speaking with Diane and Robert Rollins from D&R Farm in Hampton, who will be honored by CISA this week. We jokingly said that it was, like winning the Nobel Prize for you, but tell us a little bit about your relationship with the greater farming community and what it does mean to be recognized by your peers.
It was very nice to be honored on this for the award.
What's your relationship with the farms in Hampden County like?
They have been magnificent.
Yeah.
They've been supportive. They've been behind us 100%. We've been doing this for 15 years, and not 1 year hasn't been supported with them. And a lot of women are now organizing their businesses, and I think there's up to like 13, 14 women businesses in Hampden. So we're kind of like semi-supportive of them, and they help us too.
That's great.
And just to clear up any confusion for listeners, there's Hampden County.
Yes.
And there's the town of Hampden.
Yes.
Which is in Hampden County.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. It'd be,
Double Hampden.
Yeah. But you are an anchor for all of Hampden County as a farm in Hampden at a bunch of the farmers markets in Hampden County. Can you tell us about the farmers markets that you at D&R
boy.
Farm are going to?
Okay, so this year was supposed to be my year to do my retirement because I retired from a full-time job and was doing this before. So I was doing everything, plus all the bookkeeping and everything else. But I now am doing the Holyoke Farmers Market at the Chestnut Street in Holyoke. That's on Tuesday. Wednesday, I'm doing Holyoke Hospital. Thursday, Chicopee Farmers Market. And Friday, Springfield, downtown. Plus, I do 2 senior housing, the Munson Housing Authority and the Brimfield Housing Authority.
Doesn't sound like retirement to me, Diane.
No, it's not.
There was another look at so many markets. And you're still doing the Springfield Winters Market, which doesn't end for another couple of weekends.
Right. And I do a Holyoke Farmers Market and a Chicopee Farmers Market in the winter. So we're doing as much as we can for the public, and he's nonstop working.
So it's not like Robert is slacking off while you're doing all these farm shares, Diane.
No.
You're back there with all the turkeys and chickens.
Turkeys,
Yeah.
and I'm out in the fields. We're renting right now 108 acres in Hampden. So it's constantly going to different sections of the farm and planting. Like right now, we just got done planting about 7,000 little plants.
What kind of plants?
You name it. Every piece of produce from A to Z.
Asparagus to zucchini.
Yes.
You got it.
Nailed it. I was going to say avocado, but I bet you weren't doing that.
No.
It's a little bit harder to raise in this climate.
I get a kick, though, out of people that come to the markets and go, "Where's your strawberries?"
Right.
How come you don't have strawberries? It's January.
Yeah. Well, that's important, too, because, I mean, as a kid who grew up in the suburbs, you're so disconnected from the agricultural calendar that you can go to any market anytime you want and get strawberries. What you learn when you talk to farmers and you're in a farming community is...
Don't eat those strawberries.
maybe don't
It's
eat
the
them.
wrong time
Yep.
of year to be eating those berries.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't do it.
we do have frozen strawberries and frozen blueberries, so then we have something to sell through the winter, too.
Those are going to taste better. They're going to be better, even defrosted, than the fresh stuff that you're getting out of season.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's something beautiful about anticipation. We shouldn't always be able to have everything we want when we want it.
Yes.
It's part of the human experience.
And also, finding new ways to preserve those things that you like at the height of when they're good is a good skill to have. I
Like
feel
Diane has with her pickling.
Exactly.
So I know you're at all these different markets and you're selling to lots of different communities with lots of different cultures involved. Have you grown different produce to be able to provide people what they may be looking for that they're not finding elsewhere?
Yeah, through the years, we've heard people, well, I really like plum tomatoes, and I really like summer squash. They're yellow, and they look like a UFO.
Oh, the patty pans.
The potty
There
pans,
we go.
yep.
Yes. So this year, we're growing those as well. We also have I don't know if he's Iranian but he's got a particular vegetable that he loves also. So this year we're going to grow some because of the fact that he's asked us, if you grow it, I'll buy everything you grow.
That's amazing.
So we're like, okay. So we planted about 150 plants. Let's see what happens.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Now she turns around and she comes back from a farmer's market and she goes, I was just asked if we could raise this. And I'm going to put it on the list and we'll get it in.
And then besides the farmers markets, if someone can swing by Hamden, you all have a self-serve farm store that's open all the time. And if I'm a person who uses SNAP, if I call ahead of time, you'll meet me at the farm store and I'll be able to use my SNAP benefits.
Yes. Definitely. We actually make sure that people call us and set up a time or a date. And most of the time through this part of the season, I can usually meet them even that day. And I have about 200 people every month. Every month.
What percent of your business do you think is coming from folks who are using their food stamps or HIP benefits?
As much,
At
yeah, it's
least
about
half,
50%, maybe a little more depending on the locations, but mostly at least 50%.
A lot of what I'm hearing that you do at the farm is extremely like community oriented, and like farms themselves are pretty much community anchors, but like you're going out and going to like senior centers and taking SNAP and making appointments with folks with SNAP and like really trying to make your farm accessible to everyone. Was that part of the original plans when you finally had space to open your own farm to try and get as many people as much as possible?
Yes. When we started the farmer's market in Hamden, we always helped the community. Like we did a coat drive for the police department. And then we did a teddy
Bear drive for kids with heart diseases and heart operations and whatnot. And we did get quite a few donations.
Yeah.
We were surprised.
I mean, and then we started with the Hamden Senior Center, and Wendy Turner has been working with us.
She's absolutely wonderful.
Yeah. She's just been helping us out get more farm shares because it's for the community and anybody that's on low income. It's nice for them to get vegetables.
Are you the only two working the farm? Oh, there's another look.
Yes, and I have a best buddy that we've been, we're talking 55 years now, been friends. He still comes over on Saturdays and helps me. And then we just hired
2 people. We had to. I cannot do all these markets by myself.
Yeah, we want Diane to retire.
Right? You're trying to retire.
I retired, but I'm not retired. But
And you'll have her in the long term for longer too.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
That's what we want. Congratulations once again on your award that you'll receive from CISA this week to Diane and Robert Rollins, D&R, from D&R Farm in Hamden, one of the anchor farms in Hamden, Mass. and Hamden County, Mass.
Hamden squared.
And you can learn more about all of our local hero farms from Phil Corman and CISA at buylocalfood.org. Thank you, everybody, so much.
Thanks.
Soon, we'll hear about a type of word that denotes its past with Word Nerd Emily Brewster and Retronyms.
And we'll check in about the uncooperating skies with Dave Hayes, the weather nut.
But first, beautiful songs in a beautiful setting. Or rather, that could be you if you check out the second night of Caroline Rose's residency at Bombyx tonight. Next, though, she will come to our very fluorescent lit studio.
The song will still be beautiful.
Facts. You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM. Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. We are here with Caroline Rose for a bit of an impromptu live music Wednesday. Caroline Rose is a musician not afraid to evolve in public, growing from a contemporary folky to Americana artist with roots rock leanings to a sharp-humored indie pop performer. Singer-songwriter Caroline Rose has a 2-night residency currently going on, the last night of which is tonight in Florence at Bombyx with the Metropolis Ensemble. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Very last minute.
We appreciate it. We've been vying for this ever since we first got a chance to talk to you. So let's start with a song. Just get you on your way.
All right. This song's called Where Do I Go From Here? The party is over. The cake has been cut. All the champagne poured out. Everyone's drunk. Ain't it just like me to seal my own fate? I arrived, but just a little too late. Oh, sometimes it seems life's a big dumpster fire, or a series of memory funeral pyres. We're born at point A, live to point B. If we make it to C, we forget everything. Shuffle the cards, but it's all the same, 'cause only the jokers get to play this game, and only the rich ever get second chances. So throw on a dress and we'll kill ourselves dancing. So where do I go? So where do I go? So where do I go from here? From here. But don't kiss and tell, and never, ever feel sorry for yourself. Everyone wants a seat at the table. Well, I just wanna be swaddled and rocked in my cradle. You can't escape the pain that you're in, or you got to face it now. You can't pretend. Oh, shut up, conscience, I don't need your help. I know I'm getting soft and I'm losing myself. There's something about letting go that I've never understood. I've got to face it, life goes on. The memories live on in this song. Pick yourself up, babe, you're gonna be fine. Taking a deep breath, quit wasting your time, 'cause everything you love, it's all gonna die. So pay all your respects and say your goodbyes. Now go out and start living the rest of your life. Whoa, whoa, whoa. to love yourself again.
Caroline Rose, who's playing at Bombyx night 2 of a 2-night residency with the Metropolis Ensemble tonight.
I swear I didn't bring you here to make me cry in my own studio, but I was at your show last night, and it was awesome. And that's the song that you ended the whole thing with. And I don't think anyone in studio is getting a glimpse of how big your voice gets at the end of that song, because I'm not sure there was a dry eye in the house. And you were mentioning how there's points in your set that make you cry. Does that change for you when your set changes, or is it always the same songs that make you cry on stage?
No, it's pretty much always the same songs. Yeah. I don't know. The perfectionist in me is like, that was really painful because the B string was just out the whole time. Like halfway through, I just started muting it with my finger because it was so out. I'm like, oh, good God, this is just not what it sounds like. Yeah, lovely. But no, I don't know. I guess there are just certain songs that still hit me because it, I guess it just kind of takes me back to where I was when I wrote the song. And yeah, it's just a couple that it just get me every time. And yeah, it's just beautiful with the strings. The octet it's not just strings. There's like a lot happening there.
Yeah, you have a bass clarinet on stage with you, which is not what I was expecting for the ensemble to have. Has it felt good having them on these songs that you're used to playing in entirely different contexts, entirely different ways?
It feels really natural, yeah. I think especially the new album kind of lends itself to more orchestral. It feels more cinematic, and it was kind of meant to be that way. So it feels really natural to me to have them play with us. But it has been interesting, the older material, kind of getting it to fit. I've basically told my bandmates not to play. And like they're out of a job on the older songs. Yeah, but the newer ones, it really lends itself naturally. I think last night, because we also haven't heard it until just a couple days ago. We had our first rehearsal together, and my bandmate Lena Simon, shout out Lena, wrote all those string arrangements, and we kind of tidied them up together. But she really did the majority of this work on the computer. So we were listening to these MIDI versions of this octet ensemble, and hearing it in real life is really emotional because it's the difference between digital fake like sound and real players who have spent their entire adult lives practicing and adding nuance and so much more emotion behind it. It's kind of night and day.
The way that you've designed the lights and the way it worked last night, I don't know what you're wearing tonight, but last night you had this sweater on that just ended up being like almost like red and black light. So there were all these moments where like everything else would be basically in relief and you just popped out. And it was a lot of those moments. We talked before about your connection with Balkan singing, with like the Bulgarian folk singer, TP singers. And I could totally hear those moments. And a lot of those moments are when they cut the lights and you would just like pop off the stage like that. It was wicked, wicked cool. And even more so when you were trying to test the room and hear what it sounded like and would walk down the aisle to just kind of like, all right, so what does this actually sound like? What's going on out here? And like weirdly enough, in those moments too, it just like made you pop out more on top of like this just sonic bed that was going on in this space. It was such a good show. It was really a phenomenal show.
Oh. Thanks. Yeah.
Sure.
We'll have to tell our lighting guy that it was working.
I started crying at the song with the piano, and then I just didn't stop crying, and it was very cathartic and wonderful.
I usually cry. Yeah. I didn't. I kept it together last night. Well, I did not keep it together during rehearsal. I was bawling, like sobbing, like full snot sobbing.
Do you have any more performances planned with the Metropolis Ensemble doing this work in this way?
Not with Metropolis, but once you have the sheet music, you can really take the show anywhere. So can I say where we're playing yet? My manager's sitting right next to me. Yeah, we're doing a performance in London in October.
Wicked cool.
On my birthday, actually.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and we're hoping to take it kind of around.
Do you think you'll show the film at the same time at any of these?
Oh, no. I don't think so. That'd be cool, though. That'd be really cool.
The film is amazing.
Thank you.
Caroline Rose, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Yeah, you can see them tonight at Bombyx, the last night of their residency. It's really a fantastic time. Don't miss it. Yeah, there was this moment at the beginning of the show last night where they just finished the first song and there was just this hush. And she looked entirely like, oh no, something went wrong. But really, it was just like the audience was wowed into silence. And it was super, super cool.
You have one more chance.
That's tonight.
Want to know if you're about to get bombarded with fluffy sky tears tonight? Hang on, because we're about to talk with Dave Hayes, the weather nut.
But first, words that reach backwards and have a direct tie to NPR. Word Nerd and senior editor at Merriam-Webster, resident wordster Emily Brewster breaks out the retronyms next.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
The Fabulous 413 podcast is funded by Northeast Solar, helping customers make the switch to solar for savings, energy security, and tax incentives. Learn more at northeast-solar.com.
Emily Brewster, resident wordster from Merriam-Webster, our dictionary in our backyard in Springfield, Massachusetts. We're going to talk about retronyms, which I'm assuming are names from a long time ago, like Gertrude and Imogen and Phineas and Rupert.
As opposed to things that have evolved backwards in meaning or don't mean the thing that they seem to mean.
You're wrong on both counts, I'm so sorry to tell you.
Oh, wow.
What is a retronym?
A retronym is a term that refers to an earlier or original version of something. It's usually got two parts, a noun and a modifier, and it's used to distinguish the original version of something from a newer version of it. Oh. One that is always brought up is acoustic guitar. We had no need for the word acoustic guitar until there was a different kind of guitar.
The keytar.
That's a very
well, the keytar, yeah, absolutely.
That's a different thing altogether. The gitboard.
So, Dimitri, what exactly is this thing?
It's a gitboard.
No, man, keytar.
Oh,
yeah, it's the wrong parts of the word. It's half keyboard, half guitar.
Because electric guitar became popular, to differentiate, it needed a new name. Hence.
That's right. Acoustic guitar did, right? Because if people were, if all of a sudden now when you said guitar, people would need to know which kind you were talking about.
Hence retronym. Right? It came.
And it's a retronym, yes.
Talking about something that came before, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. This term was coined by Frank Mankiewicz, who was the president of National Public Radio back in the day.
Oh, hey.
Yeah. He used to collect these, and William Safire wrote a column, this famous on-language column in the New York Times, and in the 1980 issue of that column, he wrote about retronyms. So that is our earliest evidence of the word retronym. But the concept, of course, is ancient. But them being identified as a category of word is, just dates to about 1980. There are lots of them. There are different kinds of retronyms. A retronym can be an object, like an acoustic guitar, or it can be an experience, like snow skiing, or it can be a place, like meat space.
And for those who don't know what meat space is, it's not a butcher shop. What is it?
It's a space where you actually meet a person in the flesh.
In real life, as opposed to meeting them on social media or something like that.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
Adjacent is like basically co-work space. I've heard it used for that as well, meat space.
We're not in the meat space right now, although it's always fun, Emily Brewster, when you come to the meat space of the NEPM studios.
Yeah, but no, I'm just in my office and you're over there. We are in the other space, which used to be impossible, which is why we needed a word like meat space, because, originally people would not be able to talk to one another unless they were in the same space.
Unless they use the phone, whatever's that. But I bet you that there's some retronyms that have to do with the phone.
Oh, sure. Rotary phone, for example. Uh-huh. That's a good retronym.
That's when you're trying to use your cell phone while driving around a rotary.
No.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
At all. It's illegal.
Yeah. Also, landline is a good retronym. Although it's not typically structured, right? Usually, it consists of the same noun or the there's one element of the word that exists in the different forms of the word. So, rotary phone. We also have cell phone, but landline is its own thing. As far as its actual morphological construction.
Emily Brewster, we're talking retronyms. You mentioned that these are ancient. What are some ancient examples of retronym? I can think of some old examples like World War I, which was just the Great War until we had a good old-fashioned World War II, which in reality, historically, is probably all one big long war anyway. But anyway, what are some more ancient ones?
The term old world.
Okay.
We didn't have that until we had something that we were calling the New World.
Yep, complicated.
Yeah, complicated for sure. My favorite retronym, though, is British English.
Oh, I think we did that one.
Yeah.
I think that one's our fault.
And the British are probably not happy about it.
Well, they should be, though. I mean, the language has done incredibly well globally, right? The language has proliferated, and it now has all these different versions. There's Australian English. There's Filipino English. There's just a million different kinds of English. But British English is the OG.
It is the OED.
There are a lot of retronyms that have to do with food, and the food ones are fun, I think, like regular coffee.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Regular coffee is more fun, of course, than decaffeinated coffee.
This is, excuse me, a damn fine cup of coffee.
Oh,
but at first we only had regular coffee, but also whole milk.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Until there was skim or 2%, it was just milk. Also, I like this one a lot. Corn on the cob.
You know how they call corn on the cob, corn on the cob? But that's how it comes out of the ground, man. They should call that corn. They should call every other version corn off the cob.
Everybody thinks corn on the cob was the way that it was consumed first because that's just how it comes, but it was not commonly consumed that way at first.
Well, and in addition, it's funny to think of the fact that all grain used to be referred to as corn.
Right.
So corn itself is kind of a retronym. When you read things about the Roman Empire, when they're talking about grain, it's always corn.
Interesting. Apple was also used really broadly for a long time to refer to any kind of fruit.
And then we had potatoes, pommes de terre.
Pommes de terre. And we also, speaking of the apple, and more locally, apple cider was at one time perceived to be alcoholic at all times. And now we have to say hard cider to differentiate it because of prohibition and a bunch of other different things where it stopped being alcoholic for a while there.
Right. I like to think about the words that get applied in retronyms kind of regularly. Non-alcoholic is one. Whole is another, as in whole milk. Manual and analog are both terms that get applied more broadly. An analog watch or an analog camera, analog to distinguish from digital. And so the word analog is, it's just commonly called upon to do this job of distinguishing what existed before the digital version of something.
And manuals like cars, like I drive.
Right. Manuals like cars, also like typewriters.
Yes.
Although I love with cars that people still call it a standard. It's called a standard because that's how it came. Standard. You had to ask for the special automatic car if you wanted that one.
That's right. And now you're hard-pressed to get it.
Yes. I know. And now with electric cars, we'll never have a manual transmission again.
I know.
Oh, I still got to borrow my son's Jeep.
I'm curious. This is the absolutely weird aside that I'm wasting time with, but I wonder how they're going to be able to do stunts with electric cars.
Oh, they'll set them on fire and take hours to put them out.
Joy.
Ben Clark, the assistant fire chief of Deerfield, just led a training on this last week, I heard about on reading the recorder the other day.
On putting out fires for electric cars?
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, quick aside, don't drive in Northampton because the potholes are real bad and they'll blow out your tire, and then my electric car doesn't even come with a spare. I had to get it towed.
Oh.
Last night.
Oh, that's why you're driving the minivan.
That's right.
Okay. I had questions. They've been answered.
Oh, well, there we go. That was a non-retronymic aside. What are some other fun retronyms? Emily Brewster, resident wordster from Merriam-Webster, our dictionary in Springfield.
How about scripted show?
Which ties with reality TV, I think.
Yes.
Also seemingly a retronym.
Well, you mean because reality TV was the original?
There was TV.
There was TV, and you would assume that most things that weren't the news were not real on TV, were scripted and fabricated of some sort, unless you're looking at like maybe a game show and basically like the news or interview shows. But then reality TV comes along where it's apparently real, even though they're sort of scripted, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I think more than sort of.
But the way they were originally presented was like, hey, this is real life.
I'll accept season 1 of The Real World as a reality show and nothing else.
This is the true story. True story.
7 strangers.
I mean, season 2 is also kind of...
I also loved that, yes.
Yeah. True story. Anyhow, like, that's what I mean, and why I'm looking at it like that.
How about combustible cigarette? This is a pretty new one.
Wow, I've not heard this one yet.
Yeah.
Why is that a thing? That sounds
because
dangerous.
of e-cigarettes and vaping?
Yes, that's right.
Wow.
We now have electronic cigarettes. And so you have to, if you want to distinguish between electronic cigarettes and the old-fashioned kind, you call them combustible cigarettes.
Not flammable?
Smokable nicotine
You can make up your own, Khaleesi. You can use your own, but combustible is the one that is typically used.
Smokable nicotine sticks is what The Onion has called it when they said that they got rid of... They were trying to come up with a way to get people to quit smoking, and they've invented smokable nicotine sticks.
That's really good.
Secondhand smoke makes you secondhand cool. Another Onion headline.
Also, smokable nicotine sticks sounds like a clue you would give in Taboo.
Exactly. But I like that better than combustible cigarettes.
I like combustible cigarettes because it sounds dangerous.
I guess you're right. And it is dangerous, everybody.
Yeah.
Don't you know smoking is bad for your heart?
It does dreadful things to your lungs, and it is very bad for your heart.
All right, how about cloth diaper?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because we assume that they're disposable diapers most of the time, I guess.
Now we do, yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Now I'm getting nothing but adult diaper ads when I watch Hulu. So I don't know what that tells you, and those aren't cloth. But adult diaper is also a retronym, I guess.
I get a lot of things for psoriasis.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, I love drug ads.
Adult diaper is not a retronym. That is the newer one. If adult diapers were so prevalent, then you would, child diapers, diapers for youth diapers, baby diapers, right? Baby diapers.
Mm-hmm.
Once you have adult diapers, then you need the retronym baby diapers. Outdoor rock climbing is another one.
That one's depressing as all get out.
Oh, come on. We live in a place where you can't go rock climbing all months of the year.
That's true.
So
there are places to go rock climbing
indoor
around
rock
here, though.
climbing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And I know people love going to that thing. I've gone a couple times.
It always feels weird. Like, the grips are never quite the same as when you get on real rock.
Well, I like it better because it feels less dangerous. I don't want to touch the real outdoors. Ew.
I mean, the real outdoors are fun. And then, like, I remember the one time that I got my thigh really badly stuck in a crack and somebody had to come up and pull me out.
Yeah.
Ouch. All right, here's another one that has to do with the great outdoors. Monty, you will love this one. Tent camping.
I hate that one, but I love that I have other alternatives, like glamping and camping in a yurt, which I'll be doing in the Cape once again in June.
Nice.
In a town named after you, Emily Brewster.
Yeah, I mean, not me personally, but do you think they'll let me stay there for free in that town since I have the last name?
Yeah, you should give it a whirl.
I guess I should. That would be nice.
Any other fun retronyms?
Non-alcoholic. We already talked about non-alcoholic cider, but alcoholic beer, for example, is a retronym, right?
Yes.
Because beer is traditionally alcoholic. Then you have non-alcoholic beer, so then you actually need the alcoholic beer again.
Ain't that the truth?
I don't know. Are we doing anything with gummies? I'm still in this like substance abuse kind of thing. Like, do you have to specify yet that these are non-THC gummies or something?
I mean, only when they're on display at a place where you know that people generally take them.
Right. So you would hope that is never confused.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I saw an ad for non-alcoholic seltzer, and somebody on social media commented on it. So you mean water?
Why did you do it?
Yeah,
Why?
I don't know.
Because the world calls for this retronym. Because there is now so much hard cider, we need the term non-alcoholic cider to specify that it is distinct from the newer version.
I try not to judge the folks that are drinking hard seltzer. It's fine. I'm not yucking your yum, but...
Yeah, don't
you are.
But we can't hang.
But what we are talking about, of course, is the language, not the substance.
Right.
And retronyms are, I think, a really fascinating way that has evolved in the language to distinguish things. And it has this kind of predictable pattern. They're usually 2 words with a modifier and a noun. And I wonder what the earliest, well, I think it would be impossible to find out what the earliest retronym would possibly be?
The Old Testament.
Good one. Wow.
That was at least 2,000 years old. I'm curious if listeners have any of their favorite retronyms. You can send us any of your retronyms and any question for the Word Nerd at thefab413@nepm.org. And we're going to have a very special Emily Brewster segment on Monday, Eclipse Day, where we're going to talk a little bit about eclipse words. Right?
Sure, yeah.
Up next, Prince has a song about what's about to happen in the region.
1999.
No.
Mountains?
Warmer.
Let's go crazy.
People probably will, but no. It's sometimes it snows in April.
And that sometimes looks like it's now, and we'll hear more about it shortly with Dave Hayes, the Weather Nut.
You're listening to the Fabulous 413 on 88.5 NEPM.
Do you like knowing the weather?
Welcome back to the Fabulous 413. It looks like the 413 is getting some weird weather. Are we really going to see 6 inches or a foot of snow?
There's only one man to call.
Hello.
Is this David Hayes, the Weather Nut?
Good afternoon.
No one calls you David Hayes, the Weather Nut.
People only call me David when they're upset with me.
David? Why are we getting a snowstorm in April, David?
Because Prince...
Monty, I'm very sorry. Please don't hurt me.
I do believe that Prince had a song warning about this.
Sometimes it snows in April.
If you're not familiar with Dave Hayes, the Weather Nut, he is forecasting to over 50,000 social media users on Facebook, as well as Twitter and other platforms. He is I like to call him armchair meteorologist, but a community-supported weather forecaster through westernmassweather.com. And yes, as we are joking, there's something going to happen tonight and tomorrow. What does this something entail, Dave Hayes, the Weather Nut?
Yeah, well, it entails all the precipitation types, except for maybe grauple.
Explain what grauple is, which sounds like a delicious food, but is it...
Yeah, it does. It sounds like a mix of some sort.
Yeah, grauple.
Grauple. Well, maybe it doesn't sound that.
It's popular in Pennsylvania.
You have it on yogurt.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, yes. No, we're getting everything today. I mean, the valley, it's mostly rain for now. But there's definitely been some sleet mixing in all the way down to Springfield. And that tends to happen with, when it precipitates more heavily. It's colder aloft while it's in the mid to upper 30s at the surface. So that is bringing some sleet down, and it's been sleeting and snowing actually north of us. So I think for the rest of the day, we've got low pressure. It's going to track off the Delmarva Peninsula. It's going to go probably over either Rhode Island or Cape Cod tonight and tomorrow. And as it does so, we'll just have periods of precipitation. It'll be rain and sleet, mostly in the valley for now, although it could turn to all sleet this evening. It's been a little colder aloft than I originally had thought, and so that kind of is a little bit concerning to me. It could sleet, once we get to dark, after dark. And then we're going to have, basically, it's an elevation-dependent snowstorm again. I mean, it's early April, so that's kind of par for the course.
Yeah.
But it should be like, western hill towns like Goshen, Chesterfield, up into like Coleraine, Shelburne, and west of there. It should turn to snow, mix with and turn to snow overnight into Thursday morning, and it could snow hard for a time. And I think in those kind of far northwest hill towns into the northern Berkshires, up into southern Vermont and Monadnock region, they could see 6 to 12 inches of snow. In some areas like Mount Snow, they could get over a foot. So
it's not just a clever name, Mount Snow.
Yeah, it's not just a clever name. It's aptly titled, for sure. And so I think the skiers are going to get one more go here before it really looks quite springy, actually, next week.
But if you haven't put your skis away for the season.
Yeah, I put my snowblower away.
Yeah, I mean, you're almost ready to put them away, but I think you should hold off for another few days. But yeah, and then I think like eastern Franklin County, hill towns closer to the valley, like Conway, areas like that, could see more like 2 to 6 inches of snow out into the northern part of central Massachusetts. But for the valley, from Greenfield south to the state line, it's probably going to be more like a coating to 2 inches of snow and sleet. Like I said, I think we could have a period of sleet tonight as the colder air comes in. And then tomorrow, it could be snowing and sleet. It looks like it's going to be snowing and sleeting in the morning. There should be some colder air that's come in, but then the storm is going to be kind of tracking to the east. Now with storms like this, it's like it's still going to be developing. It's going to be slowing down. I mean, sometimes these storms, as they form, do weird things when they slow down or stall. So it remains to be seen exactly what's going to happen tomorrow. But it should be winding down. The other factor in this is that there's wind kicking up. It's already gusting to the 40s and mid-50s in northern Berkshires and southwest Vermont. And so we won't get that much wind here in the valley. I think we'll get like gusts of 25 to 40 miles per hour or so. But in the areas in the western hill towns and even parts of the eastern hill towns in northern central Mass up into Vermont and the Berkshires, with heavy wet snow plus easterly wind gusts of anywhere from 40 to 60 miles per hour, there's definitely going to be some scattered outages out that way. And then the wind should tamp down. It'll be windy late this afternoon, tonight, tomorrow morning, and then it should tamp down. And things should start to wind down by the afternoon, but it's going to then stick around for a little while. There'll be some showery weather here and there for the next few days, and it starts looking nicer on Sunday.
Oh, good. Something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to, Monty Belmonte.
I mean, and if that all gets done early, then it means that we can still watch the eclipse.
Oh, yeah. What is it? What's the go-to, like, right now? If Khalees and I drive to Vermont on Monday, are we going to have clear skies?
Yeah, it looks pretty good, actually.
Yeah!
It looks good. Yeah, Sunday, Monday looks good. I mean, there may be some, last I checked, I'm not really that focused on that time period right now, but the last I checked, it looked mostly sunny. There may be some high clouds, but high clouds generally wouldn't be enough it actually could help make it a little bit even more spectacular, though. You're not supposed to look directly at it.
Until it's total eclipse.
Right.
But we're going to try to go to the path of totality, I think.
Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go up to Burlington?
We're just going to drive north until we hit the path of totality.
This sounds like Bruce McCullough talking about being a Doors fan.
What?
Oh, wait, have you never heard this sketch? So there's like from his comedy album, Bruce McCullough was a member of Kids in the Hall, and there's a sketch on his comedy album about being a Doors fan. He's like, it starts with like, just find an old car, steal it. Doesn't matter if you own a car, steal a car and drive west. And then you eventually like stop and set the car on fire, and if you can still hear the Doors, then you're a real Doors fan.
We're not setting our car on fire. It's the family minivan that we're going to take, and my kids are coming. We're not setting anything on fire.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Well, I feel like that. What I love about your forecast, Dave Hayes, the Weather Nut, is that they are not inflammatory like so many other things. Every headline I see online is all about 6 to 12 inches in Massachusetts. It's very specific places that would be. And thank you for giving a little bit more of an even-keeled look at it. It is once again the triangle of disappointment: the Valley, Greenfield, and South. Right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, we just can't, especially early April. The other thing is, too, it could be snowing. I wouldn't be surprised if it snows steadily for a period of time tomorrow, especially in the morning, even in the valley. But the sun angle is so high, and the sun's coming up earlier and earlier. So the April sun angle, it provides a certain amount of solar radiation that will preclude. It would really have to dump snow for several hours straight to really get a good accumulation to happen. So you're kind of fighting that too, and temperatures are marginal. It's not like there's Arctic air around. So it certainly will be interesting to see how it exactly plays out, but those are the kind of factors involved.
Dave Hayes, the Weather Nut. You can follow him on Facebook. You can follow him on Twitter, which I'll never call X. And you can also go and follow him on westernmassweather.com. He is community-supported forecasting for the 413.
So if you want to support him, you can find out how to do it on his site.
Thanks, Dave Hayes, the Weather Nut.
Thanks, Khalees and Monty. Take care.
You too. I mean, it's nice knowing that I won't have to shovel because I live too far south.
Yeah.
Yeah. You, on the other hand.
I love the triangle of disappointment. I live right in the cusp of it, so I think I'll be fine.
You might be okay.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, I really just want to encourage people to go see Caroline Rose's show this evening because it's going to be absolutely fantastic. I wish I could see it both nights.
Don't let the weather stop you.
No. Go, and it might be your last chance for a while to see something like that here. But we'll talk more about things you can see at Bombix tomorrow.
That's right. We're going to be talking more about the Power of Truth Festival with Khalif Neville, who is got a four-dimensional piece of artwork, virtual reality exhibit that you get to experience as part of this festival this weekend.
We'll also explore sonically with the folks from the Connections concert at Bombyx, blending genres, instruments, and perspectives this weekend in Florence.
And, of course, our weekly Thursday chat with U.S. Congressman Jim McGovern. If you've got a question for the Congressman, you can email us at thefab413@nepm.org.
Special thanks to Spouse Happy Valley Guitar Orchestra, Caroline Rose, Prince, Suitcase Junket, The Beatles, and J.J. O'Connell for writing the Weather Nut theme.
Yeah, the rest of the band Spouse plays on this, and they tricked Dave Hayes, the Weather Nut, to play bass on his own theme song.
I know, it's adorable.
Which is the best story. Our director is Tony Sir, not appearing in this snow done.
Our digital producer is Ayuth Suryawan.
You nailed it. Our engineers are Betsy, Tube Banana Bread Lankto, Kara, Dr. Martin Stan Foster, Bart Last Minute Preamp Fix Rankin, and Punk Rude Boy Sharp Cheddar Dubé.
I'm Khalees Smith.
I'm Monty Belmonte.
We'll see you tomorrow on the Fabulous 413.